Welcome to the Big Blue Seat Show, which is basically a show about pretty much anything. I'll just blabber on about things that I find interesting and that you might find interesting as well. And today, we're going to be talking about the topic of aviation and planes. Precisely something that has been puzzling people for years. Let's get right into it then. Welcome to the BBS once again. Hope you enjoy. So flight safety. When you fly for the first time, you think about many different things like, am I going to crash? Am I gonna die on board one of these big machines or whatever that is for you at the first time? Are you gonna go straight down and plummet down to the ground and I'm just gonna fly and land at my destination safely? Well, all of your worries are usually probably based on something that you watched in the past. For example, if you happened to watch actually all of those shows where they talk about how planes crash and how they basically devastate the lives of people and their families, and you have a solid base for thinking that planes are not safe. But the truth is different. Planes are perhaps the safest thing on this planet when it comes to transportation. In fact, statistics say that, and also practice says that. I flew too many times in my life, being deadly scared of my first flight, and today, look, I'm here, I'm alive. My flesh is fine, so my hands are fine, my head is fine, I think so at least. Maybe it's a bit watered down because of all the nice experiences I had while on flight, but other than that, it's working correctly. So, basically, flying is safe as hell, and if you don't believe that flying is safe, disrespect that you show to the pilots, because those two people, that's your first failsafe. Two people in the cockpit at least, piloting all these modern planes these days. For example, an A380 has those two pilots up here. Those guys are professionals. They do know what they're doing. They're flying that plane over all those oceans, over all those cities and countries and everything, and they have a bloody good idea of what they're doing. And there's two of them for a reason too, because if one of them happens to fail, if one of them happens to go on a drinking rage or something, the other one stays in control. And yes, a plane is designed to be controllable by one person. It's not the easiest thing, but it's fully landable, fully flyable in the process. So you don't need two pilots, but it's always happy to have one. At least one next to you, so in case you fail or something, or something doesn't work correctly, you got a person to help you out. Other than that, pilots, as I said, are trained to do many things. They're trained to land in all of those different conditions that you might have. They're trained to do emergency landings, and they're trained to basically do anything. Same with the flight crew. If there's an evacuation, these guys know what the hell they're doing, and if you don't believe so, well, you shouldn't be flying anyway, should you? Now, if you go into the paranoia mode when you're on board a plane, it's not gonna happen. You're just gonna go crazy with all these different scenarios that you're gonna crash, that you're gonna die, that it's over, that the world is over. You're gonna die, basically. It's gonna go down. It's gonna go down from somewhere if you believe that flight is safe. And also, the different thing that says flight is extremely safe is statistics. Yeah, I know, statistics are basically like, numbers. And if you're not an economist or a person that likes statistics, they're not gonna be convincing to you. But bloody hell they are. And let me just read you out a few that I found online. The source is going to be listed in the description so that I'm not stealing any data. Don't even think so. It's from the website called anxieties.com, and they say, in fact, based on this incredible safety record, if you did fly every day of your life, probability indicates that it will take you 19,000 years before you would succumb to a fatal accident. 19,000 years? Are you gonna fly for bloody 19,000 years? Like, what on earth is that? Well, basically, this says that flight is super safe, because you're not gonna crash in your first flight. Look, I did too many flights in my life so far, and I'm, as I said, bloody alive, and I like it, enjoy it. Every single flight is an experience. But I want more statistics, because you probably won't believe this crazy guy sitting in front of you and talking to the camera like this. Well, let me give you more. A sold-out 727 jet would have to crash every day of the week, with no survivors, to equal the highway deaths per year in this country, meaning the US. So that's also a lot, given that a 727 actually has a pretty big capacity of passengers. Not that it's flying in high quantities anymore because it's an old jet, but still, it works. Now, so we covered statistics, we covered that basically flight is safe. So let's get into the last thing that makes flight safe, and it's the plane, the bloody machine itself. Now, I know that a lot of people will say that this has absolutely no right to fly, because this is a bloody heavy machine. Some of them weigh more than 100 tons, close to 200 tons, with 0 fuel and 0 passenger load. So this is a bloody heavy thing, a lot of metal, aluminium, plastic and everything flying. And yet this does actually fly. A true plane basically is genius in its design, because those big old wings and the big old tails and everything is designed to lift it up in the sky and keep it up there. The engines too are a nice failsafe. In some cases when you have 4, you can usually carry on with just 1 or 2, and it works. In twin jets you always have to be able to fly with 1. And no, if the engines do turn off, all of them break down and catch fire or something, the plane is not going to do that. It's not going to do that because this is a glider. Every single plane is a glider. So if you lose engine power, you're going to go down slowly. You're going to lose altitude eventually, but you'll have time to prepare for an emergency landing in case it's water. Yeah, chances are pretty low you're going to survive, but statistics also show otherwise in some cases. And if you are not going to do a water landing, the possibilities are that you're going to land in the city on the runway and you'll be safe. Now, it's a machine, everything can fail, but we had landings of huge planes like the 767 in Poland with Captain Vrona on board, where he did land, for example, on the belly with no landing gear because it failed to deploy. We had cases of planes running out of fuel, we had cases of planes losing engine power, and many of them actually were survivor flights. They actually landed those machines, and it's because, again, those pilots know what the hell they're doing. They're not just bloody idiots sitting in the cabin. They have years of education, they have years of practice, simulator flights, and they have something that many of those who fear flight don't have, which is love for flying. And if you fear flight, you're not gonna love it, and trust me, it's one of those beautiful things on this planet, and this is coming from a person that basically shit their pants on the first flight. Yeah, I remember that first second when I was pushed into the seat. I was like, okay, bloody get me out of here. Get me out of here now. And the plane went on the runway, speeding up to those 300 kilometers, and then took off. My stomach went up to my, basically, like, chin, I think. And I felt terrible, but then after that, I was just amazed by the views. In fact, some of these views are going to be shown in this video, so you'll be able to see what is this bloody guy talking about. And trust me, it's really beautiful. So, to sum up, fear of flight is basically an idiocy. If you're fearing flight, watch this video, read about pilots. Don't watch all those air crash, disaster stuff things, because they don't help. You're just gonna get yourself even more scared, and you're not gonna fly on these things. And these things are just gorgeous. They're not only gorgeous, they're just amazing in every single detail. Also, I recommend that if you have to pick a seat and you want to know what's happening on the plane, what's going around, sit on those windows next to the wing, and you'll be able to tell that actually this thing is flying and that this thing is doing things, even though it seems as if it's just going into like space through nowhere in those clouds. If you do that, you'll be able to comprehend and you'll be able to believe in yourself that you will survive this flight, that you won't crash, even if the flight is long as hell, because they usually tend to be like that. Now, flying is a necessity, so stop fearing it. It's amazing, try it out, and I hope this helps. So, thank you for watching the Big Blue Seat Show. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to hit that like button to tell me that you want some more of this stuff coming up in the next few weeks or so. And also comment if you have any suggestions about what's wrong, or comment and tell us what you think about the topic of this show. So, actually not the show, this episode. Tell me what you think about the fear of flight. Do you enjoy flying and stuff like that? So, also you can give tips to others who are scared as hell. So again, I hope you enjoy. Until the next time, see you there and hopefully in the skies.